welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. I'm very dressed up because I'm going to watch Sam Ryder this evening, and I'm wearing this tiger outfit. It's lovely. It's from Joni. I treated myself to it because I thought I'd wear it on my honeymoon as well, and it's quite Christmassy, if I'm being honest, to be wearing it when it's, well, I'm filming an April video, but it's made of like this really drapey sort of velvet, and it hangs really nicely and it just sits really nicely, and it's very, very, very comfortable. So I'm going to see Sam Ryder tonight, very, very excited, and thought I don't want to waste this when I could be filming a video. So here I am filming the video. So I'm talking about my books that I'm planning on reading in the month of April. Got some exciting reading plans for the month of April. I think I'll start with the reading plan. So today, on the 1st of April, when you're watching this, I am beginning the penultimate vlog in the 6 Tudor Queens series. So you might know that last year, I filmed 6 vlogs, reading vlogs, whereby I read Alison Weir's 6 Tudor Queens series, one book from each of the Queen's perspectives, and dressed like the Queens, and watched telly that was to do with the Queens, etc, 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 and really had a nice time doing it, and I think you guys enjoyed watching me do it as well. So there's 2 more legs of that to do, and I've been sort of hanging on to when am I going to do it, because I've really enjoyed all of it. I don't really want it to be over, to be honest. Well, the first one starts today, and I'm going to be reading In the Shadow of Queens, which are tales from the Tudor court. Can't get my words out, I think it's because I'm so excited. So all of these are short stories that are associated with someone to do with the Queen's lives. So I think we've got 2 from each perspective. So yeah, so from Catherine of Aragon's perspective, we've got Arthur, the Prince of Roses, who was Henry VIII's brother, so who Catherine of Aragon married first. And then the next one's called The Blackened Heart, so I don't know who that's from the perspective of. But it's just sort of like extra little bits to do with the 6 Tudor Queens' lives. And I'm going to be filming it like I had to with a reading vlog, so I'm going to be dressing like a different queen every day. And yeah, that starts today, so I'm very much looking forward to that. Keep an eye out for that vlog that will be coming out. That goes there. And then another reading project. So on Easter weekend, we get here in the UK, we get Good Friday and Easter Monday off, so we get a long weekend. David and I are going to buddy read over that weekend The Mysterious Case of the Orpington Angels by Janice Hallett. We're both massive fans of The Appeal. David maintains it's his favourite book. He hasn't read the second one yet, The Twyford Code. I have, thought it was fine. But I've heard very, very good things about this, and I bought it when it came out at the beginning of the year, very, very excited. And we just haven't got round to reading it, and we want to read it as do a buddy read together, because we both enjoyed The Appeal so much, and I think it'll be really fun to sort of watch something unfold with somebody else. So I've got this copy that I bought. David has borrowed a copy off of our friend Emma, and we're going to read this over Easter weekend. We also have sort of like social plans over Easter weekend as well, so we're going to read and vlog, so hopefully we'll be able to get it all in. I imagine we will, because this is the sort of book that once you get going with it, you can't really stop. So yeah, another reading vlog of that coming up on Easter weekend, so that's exciting. And then I've got some Patreon book club plans. So this month we're reading I'm a Fan by Sheena Patel. The genre for this month is Women's Prize for Fiction long list books, and this won the vote. This was pitted against Pod by Leyline Paul, and this one. So I'm quite excited about this. This is it's an unnamed narrator book, which I'm always quite into. And it says there, in a seemingly unequal relationship with the man I want to be with, she's also addicted to cyberstalking the man's other lover, an online influencer she refers to as the woman I am obsessed with. Written with clear and unforgiving eye, this exhilarating debut explores obsessive love, race, privilege, and power dynamics, and heralds Sheena Patel as one of the most exciting and original voices writing fiction today. So there we go. So that is what we're reading in April. And then in May, the vote, if you're one of my Patreon book clubbers, then the vote will be up on the poll probably now or shortly. It goes up at the beginning of the month, and the genre or the theme for this month is graphic novels, which we haven't done before, so I'm quite excited, and these are the 2 up for the vote. So I will definitely be reading one of these. I may well read the other one as well, because these have both been sort of languishing on my shelves, and I'm looking forward to reading the pair of them. So I've got Wake, The Hidden History of Women-Led Slave Revolts by Rebecca Hall, and illustrated by Hugo Martinez, and this is history of slave revolts from the perspective of women in graphic novel form. So very important, I imagine very powerful. And then I've also got Fun Home, a family tragicomic by Alison Bechdale, and this is about Alison Bechdale of the Bechdale test, and it says here, it's a fresh and brilliantly told memoir marked by gothic twists, a family funeral home, sexual angst, and great books. Like Marjane Satrapi's Persepolis, which I loved, it's a story exhilaratingly suited to graphic memoir form. So there we go. So those are both up for the vote, and as I said, I'll definitely be reading one of them oh no, because I'll probably be reading these in May, so I don't know why they're appearing on my April TBR, but yeah, here we are. and I've filmed that now. So one of those will be on the May TBR. Put those separately. God, I don't know what I was thinking. I'm just high on life. And then the book that won the first line battle, so you may well have seen I've been doing these first line battles where I work my way through my shelves in sort of colour and read the first line from each book. This will be the third time I've done it, so I take the third book in the red books and then the third book in the yellow book and the third book and read the first line and sort of battle them against each other. I'm making it sound much more complicated than it is. It's really not that complicated. And the book that won for this month is A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett, who also wrote The Secret Garden. This is the winning line, and I do remember the winning line being very, very good. 1, Sarah. Once on a dark winter's day, when the yellow fog hung so thick and heavy in the streets of London that the lamps were lighted and the shop windows blazed with gas as they do at night, an odd-looking little girl sat in a cab with her father and was driven rather slowly through the big thoroughfares. That's a good first line, isn't it? So yeah, there we go, that's what I'll be reading. Then I've got some books, well, I've got a book I borrowed from my friend Emma, which I would like to read in return, and I'm excited to read this. This is Strong Female Character by Fern Brady. This is Fern Brady, who's a comedian, Scottish comedian, and she's written her memoir, which sounds amazing. She's been very sort of like, she was on the last series of Taskmaster. The new series of Taskmaster starts tonight, which I'm quite excited about, although I'll be at Sam Ryder, so maybe I'll watch it tomorrow. She's been on the most recent series of Taskmaster, and because she's been promoting this book, she's appeared on a lot of my favourite podcasts, so I've been really like, got to know Fern, I feel like, in the past sort of few months and recently with all the podcast interviews, and it sounds like this is going to be amazing. Fern's autistic, and this is her sort of finding out that she's being diagnosed with autism. She's also worked in a strip club, and there's things like that in there as well. So yeah, and it's supposed to be hilarious and heartbreaking and real, and yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to it. Not that big either, so there we go, there's that. Then I've got 2 books that have been on my shelves that I've been keen to read for a while, and I thought this month, maybe the month. The first one is A Million Aunties by Alessia Mackenzie. This is an emotional, tender and funny novel from the award-winning author Alessia Mackenzie that asks you, what does family mean to you? Seeking solitude after a personal tragedy upends his world, artist Chris travels to his mother's homeland, Jamaica, in a bid to find peace. He expects to spend his time painting alone, coming to terms with his loss and the fractured relationship with his father. Instead, he discovers a new, extended and complicated family with their own startling stories. Can they help him become whole again? Told from different points of view, A Million Aunties, which I love, is a compelling and deeply relatable novel about friendship, community, chosen family and healing after trauma. There we go. I love something about sort of like found family. Then I've also got A Spell of Good Things by Ayobami Adebayo, who wrote Stay With Me. I listened to the audio of that one and I absolutely loved it. It was one of my favourite books of the year, so I'm really, really hoping that I enjoy this as much as I did. And this is a dazzling story of modern Nigeria and 2 families caught in the riptides of wealth, power, romantic obsession and political corruption. Eniola is tall for his age, a boy who looks like a man. His father has lost his job, so Eniola spends his days running errands for the local tailor, collecting newspapers and begging, dreaming of a big future. Waralola is a golden girl, the perfect child of a wealthy family. Now an exhausted young doctor in her first year of practice, she is beloved by Kunle, the volatile son of family friends. When a local politician takes an interest in Eniola and sudden violence shatters the family party, Waralola and Eniola's lives become intertwined. In this breathtaking novel, Ayobami Adebayo shines her light on Nigeria, on the gaping divide between the haves and the have-nots, and the shared humanity of the life that lives in between. Yeah, it sounds bloody great. I'm really looking forward to that. I hope I enjoy it as much as Stay With Me. I think I really will. And then I've got some books out that I got out from the library that have reservations on that need to be back by mid-April. So I'm really hoping I get around to these. And also just some books that I've got out from the library that I'm really pumped about. So I had to sort of like, they were either on my TBR last month or they've appeared in a library haul recently and I really want to get to them this month. First one is a non-fiction book. It's called Black and Blue, One Women's Story of Policing and Prejudice by Palm Sandhu. And this is about Palm about her time in the police force, and she retired in 2019 from the Met Police, and she was the most senior non-white woman in the capital's police force. She was also the only non-white woman to have been promoted in the ranks from constable to chief superintendent in the Met's entire history. Her time in the police was littered with sort of sexism and racism, and yeah, I said when I hauled this, when I got it out from the library, that like, I do not enjoy the police in this country and think that there must be a better way. There must be. I don't know what that other way is. I don't have the answers for that, but I'm interested to find out what somebody who's been in the police force thinks about that. So there's that. Then I've got Leonard and Hungry Paul by Ronan Hessian. I got this out from the library and planned to read it during the Irish Readathon and didn't, but so many people said to me this is such a warm and wonderful book that I absolutely must read it, and I will read it, and I'm going to read it this month. So it says, Leonard and Hungry Paul are two quiet friends who see the world differently. They use humour, board games and silence to steer their way through the maelstrom that is the 21st century. It's the story of two friends trying to find their place in the world. It's about those uncelebrated people who have the ability to change the world, not by effort or force, but through their appreciation of all that is special and overlooked in life. So yeah, it sounds warm, it sounds wonderful, and I've heard very good things, so I wanted to read that before it went back. I've got Hungry Ghost by Kevin Jared Hussain. This is one of the books that has appeared in the Between the Covers show this term. And I've also got this out on Libby on audio at the moment as well, so I might do what I did with Trespasses, which was read a little bit, listen to a little bit, and I quite got on with that as well, so I may well do this. And this is set in the 1940s in rural Trinidad. And it says, on a hill overlooking Bell Village sits the Changur farm, where Dalton and Marley Changur live in luxury, unrecognisable to those who reside in the farm's shadow. Down below, by the river, is a barrack, a ramshackle building of wood and tin, divided into rooms occupied by whole families. Among these families are the Sarups, Hans and Shweta and their son Krishna, whose lives are shaped by backbreaking work, poverty and devotion to faith. When Dalton Changur goes missing and Marley's safety is compromised, farmhand Hans is offered a generous payment to move to the farmhouse as a watchman. It's a proposition he can't refuse. God, she can't get her words out. But as the mystery of Dalton's disappearance unfolds, their lives become dangerously intertwined and the small community altered forever. There we go. Sounds a little bit sort of like the haves and have-nots aspect of this. Sounds a little bit like A Spell of Good Things, doesn't it, by Ayubami Adebayo. But yeah, there we go. And then I've also got Burnham Wood by Eleanor Catton. This is a book I put a reservation on because I thought it was going to be on the Women's Prize longlist. It didn't make it to the Women's Prize longlist, but I still feel very excited to read it. And this is set in, it says, a landslide has closed the Coralwai Pass on New Zealand's South Island, cutting off the town of Thorndyke and leaving a sizable farm abandoned. Two farms. As in the last book was about a farm as well. The disaster presents an opportunity for Burnham Wood, a guerrilla gardening collective that plants crops wherever no one will notice. But they hadn't figured on the enigmatic American billionaire Robert Lemoine, who also has an interest in the place. Can they trust him? And as their ideals and ideologies are tested, can they trust each other? So yeah, there's that. Now, I'm also doing some Women's Prize for Fiction reading. Actually, I'm going to go get my phone and I will tell you what I've got left to read on the Women's Prize for Fiction long list. Because I've read quite a lot of them, so one moment. So I've read Cursed Bread. Children of Paradise I haven't read, but I've got a reservation on that at the library. I've read The Marriage Portrait, that's been my favourite so far. I've got Demon Copperhead on reservation at the library. I don't think it's going to be here by the time the shortlist comes out, but I've also got a reservation on it on Libby, so there's a chance it might come in on there. There's two reservations in two separate libraries, hopefully, but we don't know. Trespasses, I've read that. The Pod by Leyline Paul, I've got a reservation on that at the library as well, but they haven't even ordered it yet and I'm second in the queue, so we'll see if that gets there before. Bandit Queens I'm currently reading. Homesick, I've got the audiobook on Libby waiting for me. The Dog of the North, I've got a reservation on that at the library. Memphis I've read. Stoneblind I'm listening to at the moment. Fire Rush I've listened to. Wandering Souls I've read. Black Butterflies, the publisher got in touch with me about 2 weeks ago and asked me if I wanted a copy of this. I said yes, and it hasn't arrived yet. So whether or not I will get through to that, because I've been trying to order that and it seems to be sold out everywhere. So that's the one I'm having issues getting hold of. I'm a Fan by Sheena Patel, I'm reading this month for Patreon Book Club. And Glory by Novila Bulawayo, that is a waiting collection from the library. So yeah, so there's plans for all of them. The only one that I haven't got or haven't got a reservation on is Black Butterflies. They don't have it at any of my libraries that I use, and I've been trying to order it and haven't been, but like I said, the publisher did say they were sending it to me, so let's see, there might be a shortage of that book. But yeah, so it's going quite well. So the books I've got left, so also included in my TBR are Glory by Novila Bulawayo, I'm a Fan by Sheena Patel, Black Butterflies by Priscilla Morris, Stoneblind by Natalie Haynes, which I'm still reading, Dog of the North by Elizabeth Mackenzie, Homesick by Jennifer Croft, The Bandit Queens that I'm reading, Pod by Leyline Paul, Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver, and Children of Paradise by Camilla Godrova. So yeah, I've still got 10 to read off of that list, but I am in the process of reading 2 at the moment, so there we go. So those are the books that I plan to read in the month of April. Let me know what books you are reading in the month of April. Let me know how your Women's Prize for Fiction long list reading has been going. If you've been reading it, what's been your favourite of the long list so far? And I'll see you all again soon, tomorrow in fact, for another BookTube video. Goodbye!